Hey, it's me coming to you from Jason Robel's home where I am currently cat sitting for him. It is the day before 4th of July, just a few hours away. And full disclosure, if I wasn't committed to doing these videos every week, I probably wouldn't be recording right now because honestly, I'm still having a rough time emotionally and don't really feel like making a video, but I also feel like this is good for me just to talk about it, because one thing that I tend to do is shut down emotionally and not really want to talk about my feelings when I'm struggling. I've actually been trying to figure out why I do that, and I haven't been able to identify that yet. I haven't been given it a ton of energy because there's a lot of things that I'm trying to figure out about myself, but I don't know, if I were to guess, I think a lot of people in my life have told me that my feelings aren't valid, and I think that's where a lot of my frustrations and insecurities and hesitations come from. I love connecting with other people. I love putting myself out there and being honest about what I'm going through. But because I felt so much in my life that I've been rejected for things that I've said, or I've been told that my feelings aren't right or valid, or people have tried to correct me, there's a lot of hesitation there. It's easier on this channel because most of you are so supportive, and I'm just deeply grateful for it, and that's probably why it's been so easy for me to be consistent here, and it's so easy for me to just talk. And right before I started recording, I had this feeling wishing that I was doing this live, and you know, as I said a few videos ago, I'd be curious about exploring live videos here and maybe having a set time, because it'd be neat to get your feedback and also just feel your presence, because it kind of feels like this channel is all about talking to a group of good friends, and it's weird sometimes that, you know, you're not actually here. And I read your comments, and you know, I know a number of you are shy, but I'm not going to get into detail about the things I've been going through because they're, you know, they're private, or I'm not ready to talk about them yet. But I think it's helpful sometimes to hear people talk about their struggles and how they deal with them. It's something that, you know, we want to paint this picture of our lives being so perfect on YouTube and social media and all that, but sometimes that starts to feel like it's putting a distance between us, and it's easy for us to compare ourselves to the best part of people's lives. And that's actually part of what I struggle with. This, you know, this past week or two, I've had feelings of being not worthy, or not good enough, which, as you know, if you've been watching my channel for a while, is a very common theme for me. And I've made a big effort to be on social media less and to look at other people's posts less. And sometimes that in itself feels very disconnected, but it's like I have to protect myself. And that's something that I've been working through a lot is, you know, how do I proceed online? Because of my desire to go inward too, it's sometimes hard for me to do public things like be social. Today it was really hard for me to go to church, but I hadn't been to church last week, and then I'd missed another week, so I missed like 2 weeks in the past month, and I'm really trying to get back into it, and I knew it would be good for me, but it was just the thought of being around all these people and kind of like putting on a happy face. I don't feel like I have to be fake around people, but there's still a lot of people that I don't know yet, and the church that I go to is so close-knit. And if you haven't heard me talk about that yet, I'll just give you a brief summary. I go to this church that is really full of young people. They're all about my age, somewhere between like 25 to like 35 would be the average, and then like a few people that are older than that. So it's neat because I'm surrounded by a lot of people that are like me, that kind of dress like me, kind of talk like me, have similar jobs. Like we have so much in common, and that's so wonderful. It's a huge part of why I love going to this church. But it's also this feeling of like, wanting to make friends, wanting to fit in, all of that. The nice thing is like with this church, I do feel like there's so much acceptance of love, but I'm also like in that awkward stage. I almost feel like I'm like going to a new high school or something where I still have a lot of people to get to know, and I'm not sure if I can trust them yet, and I'm not sure if they accept me yet, and I'm like, are there cliques here? Like, do I fit in? Like, it's a little awkward. And for me, I tend to have social anxiety, so it's tough, but I pushed through and I went today, and it was great, of course, like I knew it would be. The services there are so fantastic. I didn't think that I would go to church and be into it, but I really enjoy it and I look forward to it. And I've been more active with things. I've been thinking about volunteering, and I've been just connecting with more people there, and that's been really, really helpful. So I encourage those of you who've thought about it or even haven't thought about it. I'll make a little side note. I didn't really mean to talk about this much, but now that people hear that I go to church, like I have a lot of conversations about church, and one of the most common things that I hear is people that were raised Catholic and went to Catholic churches, and they tend to have this really not the best opinion of what church is like. And what this experience has taught me is that like not all churches are the same. There's some churches out there that are really amazing and can really work for you, and you kind of just need to find the one that works best for you. And you'd be surprised, I think, looking around at what's available. There are a lot of these kind of modern churches, like in LA, we'd use the term hipster for the church that I go to, because like, the main pastor there and his wife like dress so cool. Like he's got like this stylized California hair and ripped jeans and tattoos, and he's just like a cool guy. Like you would never imagine that he's a pastor if you have these like old Catholic traditional views in your head. So anyways, my point is that if you feel resistant to it, you never know, because I just didn't think that I would be going, and it's made a big difference. I've made some really good friends. Like tomorrow, I was feeling sad because I didn't have any 4th of July plans, and I felt torn. Like I wasn't like super sad about it, but I kind of, it's funny, like even thinking about it is bringing up some sadness in my heart, because I was raised to really like get excited about holidays. My mom has always been really into them. Like every holiday is like a big deal. And so that we would always do something special. And I've been surrounded by a lot of people that think about that. So holidays are just like a big celebration, even if it's something like 4th of July. It's like, what's the big deal about 4th of July? But there's just that nice feeling of like an excuse to come together. Everybody's taking time off work and just hanging out. But with my social anxiety, the thought of going to parties like sometimes makes me really uncomfortable. So I got invited to a party that some people from church are having tomorrow, and I'm debating whether I should go. But it was just the idea that I got invited. Like I have a pretty good community of people in LA from the vegan and environmental side of things, but I've honestly been feeling really disconnected from that community lately. And if any of you are watching, it's nothing really personal. It's just that like, because of a lot of the anxiety and feelings of not being good enough around my career, those come up, and I feel like a lot of pressure, and it's hard for me to be around other people sometimes, because I start comparing myself to them and their careers, and then I tend to just think that everything's going smoothly for them and not for me, and it's just like a bad feeling. So if you follow me on Snapchat, you'll see me go to these parties, and I usually am having fun at them, but there's often this part of me that's like feeling like this pressure, especially like around the Instagram community. I feel so much anxiety around that. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, lately I haven't, I wouldn't say that I've been feeling like a failure. I just don't feel like I'm doing as well as I would like to with my career. And that's something that I've been working through a lot, and that's been weighing really heavily on me. And I think, you know, a lot of it is because I haven't been working as hard as I think I should be. I haven't been as consistent as I think I should be. And the reason is because of a lot of the emotional things that I'm going through. And I don't know if that's ever going to change, and that scares me. You know, it's like I was saying at the beginning of this video, if I wasn't committed to making a video every week for you, I wouldn't have recorded this. And that's what comes up a lot for me with my work. I often have days where I just don't want to work. I just don't want to do anything. And it's challenging for me financially sometimes because then I'm scrambling to make ends meet. Since I work for myself, I'm completely dependent on what content I produce or what gigs or whatever else I'm doing. But it's also tough for me career-wise. You know, I look at people that have surpassed me in terms of like followers or whatever, and it makes sense because they've really put the work in and the time in and the consistency, and I haven't, and I kick myself a lot about that. But I think for me, I also recognize the importance of taking care of myself. And, you know, looking back in life, I'm not going to be sitting there thinking like, wish I had worked harder and got more Instagram followers or more YouTube subscribers or viewers or whatever. Ultimately, those numbers don't really matter. It's just that like they play into this big element of being a content creator, and they are important for that. But you know, I also think that I'm going to look back and be more grateful that I've spent so much time working on myself and taking care of myself. It's just like it kind of becomes this weird cycle where I'm taking care of myself, and then I get upset because taking care of myself takes me away from my work, and then I get depressed, and that means I have to take care of myself again, and it just like circles around again. Like it just feels like there's always something that's weighing down on me, and thus I feel like it's hard for me to just do the things I want to do. You know, I always feel like I'm letting people down, or I'm just like, I have so much pressure. Like lately too, you know, I've talked about this a lot in videos, how I don't often respond to emails. That weighs down on me a lot. Like there's a bunch of people in my inbox right now who are like, have reached out to me like 3 or 4 times and I haven't responded, and that like becomes so much pressure. I've had some big opportunities that I missed with one of my businesses because I haven't responded to emails, and it's like, it's such a burden for me. And I think that comes back around to something I was saying at the beginning of this video too, which was like, I am afraid that I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm afraid that I'm you know, I don't know. I'm afraid of yeah, I think it is. I'm overly critical of my words because a few people have been critical of my words, and then I've taken that too seriously, and I've been stifled by that for years, honestly, and I'm ready to break through that, and maybe I just need to commit to doing that work. I don't know. I felt that with text messages too. There's at least one person who I think may be watching this video who I haven't texted back. It's because like I get text messages now, and I just like there's just this weird sense of like resistance to responding to like any message, and I just like feel so shut down. I haven't called my grandpa, my last grandparent alive. I haven't called him in weeks, and every time I think about calling him, I feel stuck. And I guess like that's a sign I really need to work on it, because there's no reason whatsoever that I should be afraid or resistant to calling my grandfather. Like he's never judged me, and so there's something going on, and I don't quite know what it is yet, to be honest. But It's painful. So I think it is important that I've taken out so much time to work on myself, to understand myself, to heal myself. I just wish that I had a career that wasn't so dependent on me doing work. I almost wish that maybe I should focus on building a career that benefits from all this self-work. I think this channel does. A lot of times when I'm feeling like really frustrating things are happening or I'm going through really tough times, like one of my biggest thoughts is like there's a bigger reason why I'm going through this, and that's to help other people that are going through it too. I've thought that a lot about my weight. Like in the last video I talked about that, the struggles I've had with my body have really helped me help other people because I've learned so much. And I was gonna say some stuff about that today too, but I don't know, time-wise probably won't have time today. We'll see. But I also think about that with my career struggles. I love helping other people. If you didn't know yet, I actually do a lot of coaching and mentoring and teaching around business and success and monetization. And I don't think I would be motivated to share all of that, and I don't think I would learn all the lessons of everything. It comes so easy for me. That occurred to me a lot today when I was I think I might have even been at church at the time, reflecting on how frustrating it is to see people like surpass me in terms of success, followers, money, all that other stuff. Like people that started later than me. I've been working on Eco Vegan Gal for so many years, and I see people like jump on YouTube and just fly up in terms of the subscribers, and I see people that just don't have all the experience of all the things I've been working on, just things just pouring in for them, and sometimes I feel a little bit resentful of that. But I realized today that I think it's really important for me to have such a slow pace in terms of my success, because I've had to go over a lot of obstacles. I've had so many times where I felt like giving up. It's taken me examining my career so many times and trying to figure out how to optimize it, how to make things better. And I've learned so much along the way that somebody doesn't learn if it's easy for them. When things just fall into place, like there's no rhyme or reason for it. It's often just luck, or you did like one thing right. Whereas for me, I can attribute my success to like so many things because I've really worked for it, and I'm able to teach other people how to achieve that too. So I guess maybe that's the reason for it all. The challenges I've had with anxiety and depression and all that, hopefully talking about those things helps you. That's really why this channel is here, is like to just kind of offer up my experiences, and maybe you can relate to them and learn from them and know that you're not alone. Okay, so since I can't think of anything else to say before I end the video, I'll wrap up with some of the body stuff. So last week I was talking about, I know I was talking about the body side of things, but I can't remember exactly what I got into. I was sharing how I wasn't feeling very good in my body, and I was kind of overeating, and that was such a struggle. I was in Palm Springs with my friends for like a week and a day, 8 days, I think, or just under 8 days. Anyways, and I spent a lot of that time just indulging in delicious food. My friend that was hosting me there is an incredible chef, and I had never experienced her food before, so I ate like a queen. I mean, it was incredible, and we went out shopping a lot. My friend's a big foodie, and so it was really, really fun. But a lot of the food was processed, very salty, sugary, oily, like it was like loaded with stuff that just wasn't making me feel good. And I think there was also something to do with the atmosphere. I don't know if it's because it was so hot in Palm Springs that I was super dehydrated. So I started drinking a ton of water, which put me on a great habit, but it felt like I couldn't drink enough water to make myself feel great. And I felt constantly bloated the entire time I was there. Luckily, now that I've been back in LA for a few days, I've really relaxed. I've spent a lot of time by myself, and I've just been making really simple meals, and I feel so much better. It was like almost overnight shift for me. So it was a good reminder that sometimes the way we feel about our bodies is very temporary. At the time, I was like kind of starting to panic. Like I was just felt like I was going in this downward spiral with my body, and I just like I was trying not to beat myself up over it, and that took a lot of work too. But I committed to getting back on track, and it's actually that really helped me form some healthier habits. So I've been drinking a ton of water. I've been having breakfast every morning, which is new for me. I've been eating apples every day. I've been using a lot of the tips from this book called The Lean, which I covered a few weeks ago on the main Eco Vegan Gal channel. I'm doing this whole series called Healthy Balanced Vegan Body, and I'm learning so much and putting so much into practice. And that book really, really stood out for me. And having to read a book about health and weight loss and fitness almost every single day of the week for this next 2 months has really, really helped me. So I just want to share that in case any of you are struggling. Just know that things pass, and sometimes it's just temporary what we're going through with our bodies. And if you can use that to propel you forward into making healthier choices and getting committed and just surrounding yourself with information, it makes a big difference. And if there's anything I can ever do to help you, I've really been thinking about I've been building something called Eco Vegan Pal for like 6 or 7 months, maybe a year. It's been a project that's very slow due to all the things I've been talking about today in this video, but a huge part of that project is about community and support. So if you guys ever have any feedback about how I can support you, or what platforms, what systems I can put into place to further support you, please let me know so I can integrate that. And especially if it comes to things like struggling with your body and making the changes that you want and feeling your best, like that subject is so dear to my heart that I would just love to support you along that journey. All right, well, I do feel better talking, so thank you for holding this space for me as usual. Thank you for holding me accountable for doing a video. I guess as much as I beat myself up, like I do have to give myself the credit of being consistent almost every Sunday. I know sometimes I slip up and it's like on Monday, but it's been really good for me to be consistent with this channel, and I do that because you guys hold me accountable, and you're here and you're supportive, and I just want you to know how much of a difference you make in my life, whether you've ever said anything to me or not. Like, each of you that watch these videos mean a lot to me, and your private messages and emails, again, because of my anxiety and issues with correspondence right now, I just never want you to feel like if I don't respond to you that has anything to do with you personally. It is just my own issues, and I want you to know that I really do read every message that hits my inbox, except for Facebook messages right now. There are a few in there that I have not read because just reading them gives me anxiety. But for the most part, emails and text messages and messages on like Snapchat, those are really, really incredible. So if you haven't found me on your favorite social media networks, the links are down below. I'm pretty much everywhere under Eco Vegan Gal. Be sure to check out the main Eco Vegan Gal channel. I'd love your support there, and I'd love to support you through the videos that I've been doing on getting into a great place with your body. So check those out. The links to the main channel is down below, and that's it for now. Really, really thank you. I feel a huge lift. So I want to remind you that if you're going through a tough time, talk to people. Talk to a friend in person or online. Record a video journal for yourself, or start a channel like this. You never know. And tell me about it if you decide to do that. I would love to see what you're up to. All right, all the best to you. Until next time. Bye.